It's probable that we will all meet difficult people in today's busy world. People who drain our energy, test our patience, and can even make us feel uneasy. How often have you found yourself? When someone's bad behavior makes us feel helpless and drained, many of us reach a turning point where we need to find effective ways to protect our mental space and well-being. This is where the timeless wisdom of Stoicism offers a profound option. Emperor Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, once said, "You have power over your mind, not over outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Stoicism teaches us not only how to survive interactions with difficult people, but also how to handle them with grace and calmness. It asks us to think about ourselves, to figure out what we can control and what we can't, and to deal with problems with virtue and reason. Imagine turning every interaction with a toxic person into a chance for personal growth and development. What if you could go into these situations with a calm mind and a strong spirit? By using Stoic strategies, you are not only protecting yourself, you are also actively contributing to the community. Wider understanding and strength. And we have a short task for you before we start. Don't miss a single moment of today's important journey. This not only helps us keep making useful material, but it also marks the beginning of your path to personal growth through the wisdom of Stoicism. Today, let's talk about how to use problems to your advantage and make each one a stepping stone to a happier and more successful life. Number 1. Control your negative self. This is especially important when dealing with toxic people. The Stoic practice of controlling your negative self can be very helpful. Have you ever thought about how one negative word can stick with you longer than many positive ones? In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius warns against this fixation, reminding us that the happiness of your life relies on the quality of your thoughts. For example, if a coworker criticizes you over and over, don't let their words get into your mind and make you angry. Stoicism tells us to take a step back and look at how we're reacting inside. Why do these words bother me? By regularly questioning our feelings, we follow Marcus Aurelius's advice to focus only on our responses, which are within our control. Real-life examples abound of how Stoic detachment has led to profound personal growth. For example, consider the story of a teacher who faces daily criticism from her colleagues, but chooses to focus on her own teaching excellence and student growth. Her commitment to personal excellence keeps her reactions and mental state safe from external negativity. This is an example of Stoicism in action. Seneca. Another calm, famous person writes a moving piece. Anger that isn't controlled can often hurt us more than the injury that makes us angry in the first place. So, controlling the negative self isn't about denying or suppressing it. It's about shifting our energy from reacting to reflecting, from focusing on the outside world to focusing on ourselves. How could you use this insight in your daily life? Are you able to think of a recent event where being more calm could have made things better? By asking these questions, we can not only understand and respect Stoic wisdom, but also use it to build a life that isn't defined by approval from others, but by inner peace and strength. Getting through the rough seas. When dealing with toxic people, the waters of interpersonal interactions need a steady hand and a steady heart. Stoic philosophy gives us a way to navigate these rough seas. Let's move on to method number 2. Being emotionally stable. Marcus Aurelius, the king philosopher, said, "You have the power to hold no opinion, to think about something and not let it make you feel bad because things don't have the power to change how we think." Imagine that you have a neighbor who is always complaining about how they intrude and bother you. How you react can change the outcome of the situation. Instead of getting frustrated or angry, what if you chose to stay calm and unaffected by their chaos? This is the essence of emotional stability in Stoicism, realizing that nothing outside of you can affect your inner peace unless you let it. Take the case of a business boss who has to deal with criticism and high expectations all the time by keeping their emotions in check. She sees these problems as chances to get better at being patient and strong, which turns what could be stressful into a sign of her strength and clarity. Epictetus famously said that men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them. How can you use this Stoic wisdom in your daily life? When was the last time someone's toxic behavior made you feel overwhelmed? How might your response have been different if you had known this? Stoic calm led them. Answering these questions helps with both learning and using what you've learned in real life. Mastering mental stability will help you live a life of peace, happiness, and success. It's not enough to just get through the storms. We learn how to sail easily through them. Inspired by the wisdom of Stoicism and the peace it offers, this skill isn't just about getting through hard times, it's also about thriving in them, thanks to our own unwavering peace. Number 3. Focus every minute like a Roman man on doing what's in front of you with exact and genuine seriousness, kindness, willingness, and justice, and on removing all other distractions. This advice from Marcus Aurelius points us toward the idea of energy intelligence, which is an important part of Stoic thought and can help you deal with negative people. Energy intelligence means being aware of how our mental and emotional resources are being used. It asks us to think about whether our activities are making us happier or tying us down. Nelson Mandela's life is a powerful example of this in action. Even though he had been jailed for many years and had every reason to be angry, Mandela chose to focus on forgiveness and reconciliation. His choice to focus on these positive goals over negative ones not only changed his own life, but also the life of his country. Michelle Obama was often criticized and watched closely by the public. Instead of wasting energy on fighting every critic, she adopted the Stoic philosophy of, when they go low, we go high. This way of using emotional energy for positive rather than negative purposes is a great example of Stoic wisdom. Now think about your own life. How often do you feel drained by people who only bring you bad things? Are there places where you could redirect your energy from conflict to something more positive? Marcus Aurelius thought that if you respect your time and peace of mind, you won't waste them on things that aren't important. Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. How have you used or plan to use the ideas of energy intelligence in your interactions with others? How have you learned to save your energy for things that really matter? Someone could use your ideas as a guide, so please share them in the 4th note. Forgiveness and memory. In the world of Stoicism, the perfect mix of forgiveness and memory unlocks a deep path to inner peace and strength. Marcus Aurelius says that the best way to get back at someone is to be like them. Forgiving someone in the Stoic sense doesn't mean forgetting or condoning their actions. It means letting go of the emotional hold they have on us. The story of Malala Yousafzai. Even though the Taliban attacked Malala for supporting girls' education, she chose to forgive. She didn't forget about the attack. Instead, she used it to fuel her advocacy rather than letting anger stop her. Her ability to forgive shows how to turn personal hardship into a force for universal good. Stoicism is about keeping a clear separation between outside events and inner peace. When someone hurts us, it's normal to feel hurt or angry. But Stoicism teaches us to remember these events not with a spirit of revenge, but as lessons in how temporary outside conditions are and how important our internal responses are. By choosing to forgive, we take charge of our emotions and break free from the destructive cycles of resentment. Imagine the freedom that comes with this practice. Instead of being held back by old grudges, we can move forward with our lives and focus our energy on what really makes us happy. The power of forgiveness is not just in healing wounds, but in opening up a space where peace can flourish. Let this be a reminder that in forgiving we do not forget. Instead, we choose to remember differently. It is in this shift that we find the strength to build a happier, more successful life, not burdened by past harms, but enlightened by the wisdom they have taught us. Number 5. Focus on goals. Have you ever noticed how easily distractions can divert us from our goal? Especially when dealing with challenging people in Stoic philosophy. The principle of focus on goals is essential for maintaining direction amidst chaos. Marcus Aurelius emphasized very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. Consider the story of Steve Jobs, whose visionary focus reshaped technology amid numerous backs, including being ousted from his own company. Jobs remained steadfastly focused on his vision for Apple. His resilience demonstrates a Stoic commitment to goals, not allowing external negativity or personal misfortune to derail his ambitions. The same, J.K. Rowling's determination to write the Harry Potter series despite being poor and being turned down shows how powerful a goal-oriented mind can be when it is not affected by outside factors. Now think about your own life. How often does the criticism of others get in the way of your path? What might happen if you keep your long-term goals in mind no matter what distractions or bad people you come across? Think about these questions. Leave your thoughts and experiences in the comments, and let's talk about how keeping your focus can turn problems into stepping stones to success. Dear friend, let's not see problems, even bad people, as barriers, but as chances to strengthen our commitment to our goals, like the Stoic did. It was taught by Emperor Marcus Aurelius that what stands in the way of action becomes the way. By focusing on what really matters, we can live a more peaceful, happy, and successful life. Let this Stoic wisdom guide you as you deal with the challenges of life. Remember that the path to your goals can be strengthened by the challenges you overcome. It's great that you're here. It shows that you're serious about learning how to control your anger to build a better life. Make sure you watch the other 5 lessons by liking and sharing this video. Your support will encourage us to keep bringing the values of the Stoic philosophy to the wider community. Next up, Stoic method number 6. Understand yourself. Stoic thought asks, how well do you really know yourself, especially when you're going through hard times or being in a toxic environment? Being self-aware is a key part of knowing our own actions, reactions, and values. He who doesn't know what the world is doesn't know where he is, and he who doesn't know why the world exists doesn't know why it exists, doesn't know who he is or what the world is. Mahatma Gandhi's life is a great example of how to be self-aware. His dedication to self-discipline and moral integrity in the face of harsh criticism and opposition shaped not only his own theory, but also a national movement for independence. Gandhi was able to stay strong and calm during troubled times because he had a deep knowledge of his beliefs, motivations, and feelings. Think about your own life. Can you think of times when you could have handled someone's bad behavior differently if you were more self-aware? Behavior. How might knowing more about your own values and causes help you stay calm and focused when things go wrong? By answering these questions, we can see how Stoic self-awareness can help us in real life, not just as an idea in philosophy, but as a daily habit. If we want to be more self-aware, we should remember what Marcus Aurelius said. Look deep inside yourself. There is a source of power that will always come up if you do that. This powerful message tells us to look inside ourselves and learn about our inner world in order to build resilience and peace. By doing this, dear friend, we can better handle toxic relationships and live happier, more successful lives. Try to remember a time when you got into a heated argument that, looking back, you knew didn't need to happen. Stoic philosophy has a useful rule for these kinds of situations. 7th, don't get into pointless fights. Marcus Aurelius says, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. This advice encourages us to think about the usefulness and necessity of our actions, especially when they might cause conflict. For example, Abraham Lincoln was known for his temperance and ability to avoid needless arguments during the rough times of his presidency. Lincoln often chose to be quiet or tell a good story instead of getting involved in pointless arguments. He instead focused on doing things that would really help his country. This strategy not only kept the country together during its hardest times, but it also cemented his reputation as a smart and effective leader. Think about how you connect with others. How many times have you been involved in fights that, looking back, did nothing but make everyone angry? What would happen if you stepped back from possible conflicts that don't help you reach your goals or improve your well-being? Thinking about these questions can help us see how important it is to pick our fights wisely so that we can save our energy for things that really need our attention. According to Marcus Aurelius, we can find peace of mind by focusing on actions that we can control and that are in line with our values. By following this Stoic lesson, we can also improve our lives by lowering stress and boosting a sense of accomplishment. Please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever chosen not to get into a pointless argument? If so, what happened? How did that affect your peace of mind and productivity? Taking this Stoic approach can make your life better and more successful. Number 8. Detecting false cordiality. How often have you met someone who seemed honest at first, but later found out they weren't as sincere as they seemed? This realization is at the heart of the Stoic principle of spotting fake kindness, a skill that is necessary to keep real connections and inner peace. Marcus Aurelius says that a person can find peace and quiet nowhere else but in his own soul. This shows how important it is to trust our own inner judgment to see through other people's masks. Elizabeth Holmes's story as the founder of Theos is a great case of false intimacy in action holes. She wooed investors and the media with her vision and what seemed like sincerity, but it turned out to be a front for lying and scam. People who were smart enough to see through her charm and question her claims early on saved themselves from the fallout that followed. Think about the people you've interacted with. If someone seems too friendly, have you ever thought something might not be right? What clues did you pick up that their friendliness might not be real? By thinking about these signs, you can improve your ability to spot lies, which is a skill that will help you in both your personal and business life. Realms. By raising awareness of this, we can escape the trouble that often comes with relationships that aren't honest. Stoicism teaches us not only how to react to the outside world, but also how to watch and respond from a place of wisdom. To live a happy life, all you need is to change the way you think. Marcus Aurelius tells us that this point of view helps us develop our inner discernment, which leads to more honest interactions and a happier life. Let's spread this message. Be honest with yourself and others, and let your inner peace guide you. As Aurelius says, the peace of our lives doesn't rest on outside circumstances or how things look, but on how honest our judgments and relationships are. Number 9. In the difficult journey of life, getting help from others is not only helpful, it's often necessary. Stoicism stresses independence while also recognizing the value of community and collective understanding. Seneca, a famous Stoic philosopher, said that being able to understand and be understood is one of the most beautiful things about friendship. Look at the case of Oprah Winfrey in The News Mogul, who talks a lot about how important it is to have a supportive network, says that being able to depend on and ask for help from trusted friends and mentors has been very helpful for her in the tough and complicated world of media. Support systems can help you grow personally and professionally, as shown in Oprah's journey. This supports the Stoic belief in the value of wise advice. Now, think about the people in your life who give you strength and direction. How do they help you stay strong when dealing with bad people or situations? Thinking about the support we get makes us value it more and makes us more likely to ask for it. When we ask for help, we follow the Stoic practice of using all resources to live virtuously and keep our tranquility. As Marcus Aurelius said, "People exist for the sake of one another. Teach them then, or bear with them." This quote reminds us that interactions, especially those that offer support, are not just nice to have. They are necessary for a well-lived life. Let's remember to lean on and learn from each other, creating relationships that lift us up and push us forward. In doing so, we embody the wisdom of Stoicism and strive for a life that is not only peaceful and happy, but also deeply connected and mutually supportive. Number 10. Putting down limits. Having clear boundaries is important for keeping our honor and peace, especially when working with negative people. To be Stoic, we need to be clear about what is and isn't okay in our interactions and make sure that our answers are in line with our values. As Epictetus said, "Do the best you can with what you have control over and accept the rest as it comes." Sheryl Sandberg, the former COO of Facebook, often talked about how important it was to set clear personal and professional bounds. For example, she limited her work hours and made family time a priority. Sandberg not only did a great job with her duties, but she also took care of her own health and happiness, despite the stress of her job. Her example is a strong example of the Stoic principle of focusing on what you can control, in this case, your time and energy. What are some ways that you set limits in your own life? What can you do to make sure that other people follow these limits? It can help us understand what it means to set limits and the peace that comes from being true to our values by thinking about these questions. Setting limits doesn't mean being alone, it means having good self-respect. It teaches us and those around us how we want to be treated, which builds relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. Marcus Aurelius thought these practices were not only helpful, but also important. He said, "If something outside of you hurts you, it's not that thing that bothers you, but your judgment about it. And you have the power to wipe out this judgment." By consciously creating and sticking to limits, we take back control of our mental space and emotional energy. Now that you know this, what boundaries have been important in your life, and how have they helped you be happy and successful? Getting through relationships with poisonous people can be life-changing. When based on Marcus Aurelius's Stoic ideas, we've looked at 10 ways to use Stoicism, ranging from setting limits to getting help and managing our bad egos. Each way leads to peace and strength. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best way to get back at someone is to not be like them." Let us take this advice to heart and use it to create a life of peace, happiness, and kindness. Try these strategies and see how they change the way you interact with others and your general health. Come with us on this journey, and let's make our lives more moral and calm, no matter what comes our way. Show your support if you think these lessons are helpful by telling us which Stoic principles you like best in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our other journeys. Goodbye, and see you soon.